Hi, this is Bee from Sorcery Soap and Hocus Pocus Crafts. I wanted to talk to you about something today. And in the vein, let me just preface this, since we're in a casual way with each other, and this isn't sponsored, or I'm not sponsoring anybody, and I can just talk to you, that, excuse me, I want to continue with these. Some days I'm going to be pretty spicy, like high energy. And I'm not really sure why I'm prefacing this, because maybe it's just to get it out of the way for myself. Because sometimes I do it first thing in the morning, and other times I wait until I've thought about things a little bit. Because I get inspired in the shower, and then I come out here and I want to, oh, I have an idea. And then other days I'm thinking, I just need to do the work. And this is the work. The work is putting this out and touching on some of the subjects that we're interested in, I'm interested in. I can only, based on your feedback, I'm going to guess that you're interested, so I'm not totally sure. And having a place to go that we have a similar vibration or a similar idea or frequency. We don't have to have the exact philosophy or exact cosmology, or it doesn't need to be exact, but that our intentions are in a direction, let's put it that way. So the other day, my guy and I were talking about something, and I brought up the analogy of, if we're in a boat together out in the middle of a lake or even an ocean, and he has one oar and I have another oar, and he is in the back and he's yelling at me, telling me that he's paddling just as much as I am, but I'm up here paddling and we're only going in a circle, I could generally tell the direction that we're going, and it isn't where we need to go. So you can't tell me that you're not paddling, or that you're paddling when you're not. And that's the general sort of overview that I'd like to invite you into. So with that said, I love the comments. Thank you so much. They're juicy and delicious and a bounty. And the fact that you're actually thinking, and it's not that I guess that you're not thinking. I mean, there's a ton of people that don't think, but it's that you're considering the topic, digesting it for yourself, sharing it with me, and then we get to do that a little bit more. And then I can take some of that into me and say, oh, that's rich and beautiful and interesting, and and I mean, to me, that's the really good stuff of being alive. If you can see, I have incense burning right here, so that if you burn incense at all, let's put it that way, at all, and you're interested, and you would be willing to give me feedback. I've been working with making incense for a few months now. I'm not an expert by any stretch, but I would like to be able to offer it, because the scents, like I have sage and santo a blend I made. And if you have sort of a similar nose that I do, like you like Midwest fragrance oil and scent memory and some of those beautiful suppliers, let me know, and I'd be happy to send you a little questionnaire to help prompt you, and a sample of incense that you can give me feedback on. And because I also need to figure out if they will package, like how I'm going to package them, so then I know what it's going to cost and how it's going to get to you, and how much to do all that. So I would really appreciate it if you would do it. And the trade is that you fill out my questionnaire and then respond to me or email me or whatever, however you want to contact me, I'll figure that out. But I've done this in the past, and it lots of great connections. So you get free incense with some interesting scents, and whatever you don't like, give it away or sell, give it away or throw it away or whatever you want to do. But I get your feedback by somebody that is connected to me, and you're not going to hurt my feelings, especially if you're, if your intent is to be honest with me. I try not to be easily offended because I would rather have you say, "Oh, it showed up in a bag of dust," and be really honest about that than saying, "Oh, it's okay," because that doesn't help. So, and I trust that you're, anyway, let's get on with that. Forget about that. You get it, right? Okay, good. So a couple things. The incense thing, the other thing is that I try really hard not to give advice, and sometimes I'm going to come off as I'm giving advice, and please feel free that you're welcome, because this morning, so ridiculous. I'm so ridiculous. I'm so caught up in thinking about what I want to talk with you guys about, and about all the feedback I just received from the last couple videos, and how excited I am, and asking for all the spirit guides and all my ancestors to come in and help me, and doing my little prayers in the shower and doing all this stuff. That I realized I put conditioner on my hair, but I didn't wash it. And I'm like, oh, so you think you're all that, huh? Oh, I don't know anything. I can't even get my act together and get my body clean. So anyway, yeah, my hair's a little weird. Anyhow. So, yeah, so a couple things I want to talk to you about. We were not going to go on, but hopefully you're just listening. You're not looking at me, because if you're just listening, then maybe you follow along and just go, oh, she's ridiculous. So one of the things that brought up in the comments the last time was fear, and I started thinking about that, and I started thinking about fear and how it manifests for me and what I think about it. And fear keeps us from doing a lot of stuff, and this is such a big rabbit hole. I could go down it forever, but if I look back at all the fears I've had, throughout my life, and here I am alive, apparently they weren't true enough to kill me. So I mean, like, where was the power in those fears? Just in my mind, or was it for real? I mean, there are plenty of times that I had situations I wasn't even fearful about. And I'll tell you a quick story. My nose is drippy because I made myself laugh. So anyway, so I was going to tell you a story about a guy with in the bathroom. And I said that a couple videos ago, and so I wanted to circle back around and revisit that. And so I didn't have any fear. I was working for a factory outlet mall, doing maintenance, and so I had to clean the bathrooms every night. And it was a substantially decent-sized place, and I thought it was very ironic that I got paid twice as much as the retail girls, but they loved to run me down. I had tons of freedom. I had nobody looking over my shoulder. I just walk and do whatever I wanted. And I had plenty of lovely gifts in the garbage. I'm not kidding. I'm not talking about negative things. I'm talking about really amazing things that I found in the garbage that I was like, oh, I should find the person who had this, and or call somebody, or I don't even know, right? Anyhow, so I was cleaning the bathrooms, and a guy came in, and he wouldn't leave. I asked him 3 times. He wouldn't listen 3 times. And then he became a little rough, and he had an exposed side piece, which wasn't a big deal. And I grew up like that. It's not a big deal to me. I got a layout of the land of the creature that was in there with me, and I could see that it wasn't fully there. It had so many levels. And he started saying some things that I found rude. And so I said, yeah, that's enough of that. And that's just exactly how I said it. I mean, it was a blip on his radar. I checked him. He didn't do anything about it. He had actually at one point cornered me in the back. He stood right behind me, and I pushed past him. And then I turned around, and I was cleaning the urinals because I thought, well, that'll freak him out, or that'll gross him out or something, and he'll want to leave. But he wouldn't. He just kept chatting and chatting, and I was trying to be polite, trying to be nice. There's huge lessons, many lessons in this. Anyway, And then he pulled it and he pointed it at me in the mirror. And I looked up and I said, "You don't want to do that." And he says, "Oh, that's okay. Me and my buddies do that all the time." That's okay. Me and my buddies do that all the time. First rule of thumb, keep your finger off the. Second rule of thumb, don't point at anything you don't want to shoot. And so I finally decided it was time to leave. So I was waiting for my moment, just kind of killing some time. He moves over to the side. I walk over, grab all my stuff. I said, "Oh, my husband's probably waiting for me. I've chatted with you long enough. I got to go," and walked out the door. I went around the corner, and it was kind of down and around the corner, and to put my things away. Like I just went on autopilot, and I just went, "Oh, I got to put all my stuff away." Like I wasn't even done with that bathroom, but I was just going to put my stuff away. And I started shaking uncontrollably. Like I couldn't get it together. I was just like shaking. And I realized that I just encountered something really not good. And now we can call it anything, but it was really not good. And what I wanted to point out is I didn't ask permission. And I'd never had a fear prior to that about any encounter like that. So all the fears that I've had up until now, I have to ask how many of those actually came true, and when they did, or if I did manifest based on a fear, how direct was it? How powerful was it? Did it stop me from doing what I was going to do? And then the second thing is, I don't need anybody's permission. Yeah. And I mean anybody. I have all the permission I need because I exist. And if I am autonomous, then I ask this very specific question: what is my intention? I have powers just like everybody else. I can intend harm or I can intend good, and varying degrees of that, lots gray. But what is my intention? What is my intention to self? What is my intention to others? What is my intention? And no one can tell me what those intentions are. They can interpret them, but they cannot tell me what they are. So as long as I'm good with myself and I strive to do more good than harm, whatever I interpret that as, I don't have to ask anybody's permission. This is somebody who also got certain things taken away in the last year that had to do with bank accounts. I don't even know if I should say that. But I had a dream last night. And that dream was, I've heard this before, so it wasn't new, but that PayPal is PayPal, right? It's the same thing. But I didn't see the deep version of it. So what I realized is that we've been saying that the Inquisition is over. Well, yeah, maybe the literal burning at the stake is over, but people are still burnt at the stake socially. And the Inquisition wasn't about ferreting out witchcraft or witches. That was all made up, because everybody knows that real people don't conjure a devil and go dance with it. Like, maybe there are creatures that do that want to conjure negative energy and go dance with it. I'm sure that happens. Literally, that's partly, like, if anybody's gone nightclubbing, they know, they've seen it. But I'm just saying, like, on your day-to-day basis, you're not going to get up and have your coffee and go, what demon could I conjure today so I could dance around with it? It's not logical. And that was the claim. And they used their structure, their cosmology, to project it onto people, pagans, that didn't have that cosmology, to vilify them. But it wasn't just the peasantry that they did this to. They did it to nobility as well, so that, guess what? so the church could sweep in and take the land and the monies from these people that they put to death, literally, and for all generations of that person's family didn't get that money or land. Kind of sounds familiar. So I think the Inquisition just turned different. It went underground a little bit. You know, those of us that speak truth have had to go underground in the last couple of years, like truly underground. We used to speak freely, particularly on YouTube, because YouTube used to be, oh, here's what I'm doing. Let me show you how I did it so then you can do it too. And if you ever want to look up something like, I don't know, how to open a can of paint, you could just look up how to open a can of paint, how to fix your car, how to do that, YouTube used to be a how-to channel. Then it became a vlog channel and a talking channel. And now it's all politicized. And now it's all, well, not so much because the powers that be don't like that. But now it's all polished and professional. And you've got news channels coming onto YouTube using it. But it started out as a how-to place. It started out as a sort of rudimentary thing. And yes, we become more sophisticated and all those things, and our tech gets better and all that kind of stuff. But those of us that, there was like a lot of grassroots people talking about, like Bill Cooper, which is interesting. Bill Cooper used to have a ham radio station, and he wrote a couple books. Behold the Pale Horse, and he was oddly killed not too far from my old house, and but he used to be underground. And then a lot of those people that, you know, people that didn't know how to do ham radios and things got on YouTube and started talking about the C word and talking about things that they were making connections to, that they were seeing on a different realm. And then all of a sudden, those people had to go underground. And if they didn't go underground, their entire channel, their whole livelihood, their bank account, everything was taken. So what's the point of burning somebody at the stake now if you can just wipe them out? And anyway, that was the dream I had. I realized that this morning. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. So it never was about, at least this is what my dream showed me, it never was about any ability you had to connect to the divine, which I call magic, anything unseen, any powers you manifest in this world that are based on the unseen, imagination or otherwise. It was never about that. It was never about ferreting out real people that were connecting to the divine. It might have been about that partly. One version of it is that they commandeered all the old herb ideas that we were healing ourselves because we lived thousands of years before corporations came in, swooped in and saved us from our herbs of willow bark and chamomile so that they could come in and, I don't know, make some money and control every single aspect. But I think 100% it's about money and control. And that's an intention right there. That's a clear intention. I'm putting it out into the field. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. So before I go on, I could go on. I could, I could. I was reminded today about what kind of life I want to live. And one time, I say one time when I was in college, I've been in college a couple times. I've been in university a couple times. I go in, I learn what I want to learn, and then I skedaddle because I'm not interested in pursuing a degree. Not that it doesn't matter. I don't pass judgment. I don't care. For me, that doesn't fit. It doesn't work. I'm just interested in understanding things. And so one time I was in college, and we were instructed to read a book called The Kin of Ata Are Calling You. And I was like, this is a bizarre book, but I, burned right through it as a little tiny book. But it's really an interesting book because they believed, it's fictional, of course, but it stuck with me. And they believe that dream world is more important and more real than this world, that this is just temporary until they can get permanently to dream world. And that's an interesting idea because, I mean, first of all, interpreting dreams is a skill and it's something you can learn. Insight in the process of it, I think, is a talent that you can maybe get better at. I don't know. I practice a lot. But remembering your dreams, remembering what goes into your dreams and what you're being told, because it's coming from somewhere. I've had dreams where I felt like I was in someone else's dream before. I remember that distinctly. I was in India, and I was just remembering the dream. I was in a marketplace, and I was in India, and I was in a marketplace, and I saw this little old man sitting on the floor, on the dirt, on the ground, and he bowed to me, and he said something like, he said a greeting or something, and then he said Kashmir Shivayism, and I didn't know what that was. So I woke up, and I had to look it up. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I had a dream one time where I got a phone number. Oh, here's a good story. I had a dream, I got a phone number. I woke up, I had the phone number in my head, couldn't stop saying it over and over again. It was like 282, I remember the prefix, and then whatever the number was. Okay, fine. So all day this bothered me, and I finally decided to call the phone number. I called in the afternoon. A guy answered the phone. First, nobody answered all. Like, I called during the day, I think, or something a couple times. Nobody answered the phone. I called in the afternoon. Somebody answered the phone. I said, hi, this is so-and-so. Guy didn't know me, but I could hear his skepticism. He thought I was a charlatan or something. I don't know. I was trying to be sincere and tell him just the truth of it. Anyway, years later, I found out who he was, and he was connected to me, but neither of us knew that he was connected to me yet. How we didn't know each other at that time at all. And in hindsight, there's no way I could have known who this guy was, but I had his phone number in my head. And now I don't know what that piece of information, how good or helpful that was even at the time, but what it did do is let me know that there is a field of information that if I want to tap into, I can, let's just put it that way, if I want to. I can't control it. I don't know how to control it necessarily. It's like trying to control your dreams, I think. That's basically how I create. And I came here with that knowledge. As a kid, people would say, how do you know how to draw and paint? I was a little kid. I don't know, but I get really freaked out when they ask me because I felt like I was supposed to come up with an answer and I couldn't. And so then I felt like I was in trouble, which leads me to the next topic. Nice segue. About the fear, which I started with. So, and I'm just touching on all these because mostly I'm touching on all these topics because we're not talking to each other. If I could feed off of you and you feed off me, we'd have a different conversation. So this is me doing the best I can with picking all these ideas out of the ether. But fear and fear of being not liked. So there's a question that I've asked myself, how sovereign do I want to be? How much am I my highest authority? And what's above me? Because there's always some hierarchy somewhere, my mind or whatever. We can say that we're, all equal, totally freaking not, but we don't need to be treated any differently, right? I have skill set. My friend has a skill set. We're not equal, but we treat each other with respect and dignity. Her skill set is so great in one area and mine is maybe good in a different area. She doesn't look down on me because I didn't do any of the things she did. Anyway, I think it's simple and ridiculous. But so back to fear and back to fear of being not liked. It really goes into this. if I am my higher authority, you cannot stop me. Okay, you got more? Let's see what you got. And that goes to scary things. It goes to anything. And the only way to stop me is when I'm dead. And even then, who knows? So I know there's lots of people that could do that or would do that to another person. And while we're in this reality, that's my litmus. As long as I'm vertical, as long as I'm alive, what are you going to do? Nothing. Most of the time, I'm not even worth them fighting at me. So, and then the other part about that is, really? Prove it. Prove it. And, they won't take the time. So then I just, you get bored and you walk away and whatever. Because there's stuff that's scary in this world. I've seen some stuff that's really scary. And when you confront it and you say, okay, what do you got? Let's see what you got. Do your best. Do your best. Let's see what you got. It's like challenging a bully. They just back down, or they get devious, or they get sneaky, or whatever. And if you say slings and arrows, what are you going to do? And I know that's poking the bear, because the energy feels it when you say those things. The energy feels it, and we've got to have a way forward. We have to figure something out. And if you come to me and say, I'm going to make this peanut butter cookies, right? Make them. And I say, well, that's stupid. What are you going to do? First of all, you're in your world and you wanted peanut butter cookies, so you're probably going to make them, because I'm not going to do anything to stop you. So we take that same scenario and we make it, and we put different subject matter in it, and we make it bigger and blow it out of proportion. And the truth of the matter is, the powers that be that are screwing everything up, and I'm not going to get into it, but the powers that be that are screwing everything up, they can't even screw up properly. They can't even screw it up really well. And it's so much bigger and so complicated. I have a pea brain. I don't have the brain to contemplate it, but I'm tired of living into other people's fears or my projections of their fears. Who cares? If you have one person that likes you for the rest of your life, one person, you are a lucky human being, truly. One person that likes you and that you like back, brilliant. That's awesome. And if you could be secure in that, maybe you could find a couple more here. I see a couple of you guys talking back and forth. Maybe we're going to create some sort of cool community, or at least temporarily some like-minded people. And if we stay underground and we don't make it some big campaign, we'll continue to connect with each other. So I have no agendas, except that I really do believe people should strive to do more good than harm. That's it. Just strive to do it. You can do it under any auspices, cosmology, any philosophy, I don't care. But strive to do more good than harm. And if somebody says that they feel that your intentions are, that's their feeling. But get right with your own intentions. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And I mean, take it all with a grain of salt. I mean, I've been talking for 21 minutes now. Holy cats. And here's somebody who's telling you she thinks she knows all that, and she couldn't figure out how to put shampoo in her hair before she put the conditioner in this morning. So there you go. And here's the other thing. Give more than you get. This is the last thing I'll leave you with, because I thought this was a good idea. Give more than you get, because demons hate that. They love it when you're in debt to them. In debt to them. Just saying. Anyway, have a great day. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk to you in a couple days. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to listen. I'm happy to comment back and respond. And definitely let me know if you want some free incense and you're willing to trade your time and feedback for free incense. Okay, thanks. Bye.